Hey y'all, my name is Taquisha. This is Our Freedom Song. I'm so happy you're here and we are back at it, y'all. Okay, so the last video we dug up one of the beds, one of the two sweet potato beds. Today we're going to dig up the other one. I'm also going to be clearing out some of the pine straw that's on the gravel because that helps. That helps the whole visual of just cleaning up and getting ready for fall. And we're going to see what else we can get done, but we're going to start there. This is the crate of sweet potatoes that we pulled up from out of the bed right here to the left. And today I have two helpers and we are going to be pulling up the sweet potatoes out of this bed right here. And so yesterday, the sweet potatoes were 36 pounds that came from this bed, all white Japanese potatoes. Over here is going to be purple sweet potatoes, red sweet potatoes, and I might have orange sweet potatoes, but I don't know because I planted all of those different varieties in this bed. And so we're about to find out. So just like I did yesterday, I'm just going to kind of pull all of the sweet potato vines and they're going to be given to the chickens. Somebody did point out that they are edible and they do taste like spinach leaves. I'm feeding them to the chicken because they do have some pest damage and the chickens don't care. So it's even better if there's some worms on there. They would love that. And so that is what we're going to do. It is pretty clear over here because we have rabbits that's been coming into the garden and they've been getting up here and they're eating all the leaves. And so we don't have too many leaves to pull, but hopefully it is stuffed with sweet potatoes. Okay, let's see what we see in here. Already different than the other side because I had already, lots of worms, so that's good.
Whoa. Mommy, can Remy go over there?
Well, I don't see no potatoes. There's one.
Yeah, and I have one right here.
Worm. That's two of them.
Yeah, lots of worms will be in here. They just love it.
And they're helping us.
They are so beneficial.
They get the last day one, and we just start. Well, another one. We just scoop them and flop.
Not really finding a lot over here. This is a purple one. I'm hoping we find more purple ones because I just love the purple ones. They're so pretty. So we are very surprised that this is all the sweet potatoes we got from that bed. And I left my scale out overnight on accident. I didn't mean to do that. And it's broke, so I can't even test it. But if I could guess, I would say 5 pounds. This looks like a 5-pound bag of potatoes. Super surprised. What I see most is the orange. I see a couple really small purple ones, which are my favorite. So I wish there was more of those. But I will enjoy what I have. So altogether, I think it's safe to say we got 40 pounds. Since that's 36 pounds right there, that's probably about 4 or 5 pounds. So 40 pounds of sweet potatoes for our eating. I'm going to be planting some sweet peas over here. I say sweet peas, but it's called sugar snap peas.
I love sugar snap.
Okay, you girls could take this to the chickens.
Little by little. Step by step.
Yep. Little by little, step by step. That's what I was just encouraging some people yesterday with their garden stuff. And you just said it. One thing at a time. We could do it. So I'm having the girls pick some of our blue butterfly pea flowers. Like she said, they grow really, really fast. And it's so true. They They just picked these and as you can see, so many are still left. I was gonna say so many colors, but I meant so much color.
And they actually are changing in the sunlight.
But they are so beautiful.
In real life, though.
Yeah. Let's get them a couple baskets.
Don't get this. No,
Oh, there was a spider web. It's not on you though.
and there's a spider on it. One of those big thick ones.
Okay.
Whoa.
There. You relocated it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so it is the same day, y'all, but I had to run in because as you saw, I was right underneath that trellis when we were pulling those vines down. And as someone with very curly hair, if you have curly hair, you definitely understand. I had to run inside because I was like, there were so many eggs on those leaves. There were so many worms and I did not have my hair covered up. I did put on my mosquito suit. And so I am going to put this hood up and then go ahead and try to get some more of these weeds pulled as well as the pine straw blowed out. So that is what is next on the agenda. I kind of want to take you through here so you can see what I mean by all of the pine straw and all of the weeds. We did pick a lot of the weeds up as I was pulling the sweet potato vines in the back of here, pulled a lot of weeds, which is so helpful. You can see all of the Tulsi basil is going to seeds, but there's still like weeds around it. I pulled so many weeds from over here. There's still weeds that need to be picked. There's still weeds that need to be pulled, but there are some wild blackberry vines and y'all know those things are so pokey. There's so many bees over here because of all of the basil that's going to seed. They absolutely love it. And so I have to try to be mindful of that too, not to be pulling where they're there because we don't want to get stung. You can see all the weeds behind here in between the beds that were growing some tomatoes and these beds right here filled with weeds, y'all. So many weeds. And so I think what I'm going to do first is kind of blow out the pine straw. And then I'm going to collect these weeds here. And I pulled some from here. But over here, it's a whole nother world. Like, there's so many weeds. All of this needs to be pulled so that I can even just get through here to walk down the middle over there where we have all the loofah growing. Lots of loofah growing over there, along with, look at that roselle that I told you guys about in the last video that has to be 12 feet tall because it is so high. I didn't even know they grew like that, like as trees. I had no idea. Is that normal? Because it's not only right there, but the one down there is tall like that too. And so maybe because this is a shaded area and it was stretching for light, that also could be a reason. But we are about to grab the blower, come in here and blow all of this out and then try to get as much weeds as possible, just so it feels really nice and breathable, walkable right here.
So there's definitely so many pros and cons when it comes to having gravel. One of the things that I did not consider was having to maintain the gravel by blowing it off. So anytime you're in the garden with us and you see the gravel is clear, it's because we blew it. Like we have to come in here and blow the pine straw.
Oh, y'all, I'm so sweating. But look at this. A little sweet potato. It's so much clearer than it was. It's not perfect, but I am really happy with the way that it looks, because I feel like I could actually walk through here. And I got a lot of the weeds that were in the corners of the beds, especially over here. I still see a few, but I got a good big pile of weeds that I pulled from the beds. And I still have some more in here, but yes, I'm so happy about it, because this was crazy over here. So I can see all of these beds need more soil, but they kind of started off low. And so I'll have to top all of these off. I could really just throw the weeds in there because they'll break down, because I'm not planning to plant anything in these beds during the fall and winter season. But if I wanted to, at least they're clear if I change my mind. But lots of weeds are pulled. And it just looks so good. Even this one little crack, y'all, that I was in that I showed you. And I can at least see through the walkway. So I blew too hard on the rocks and it knocked them clean off of the landscape fabric. So I'm going to have to go and pin that back down and cover it with some more gravel. But I'm happy. I didn't get over here, but we can see the difference. One thing at a time. One of the things I noticed on our pear trees is these little pods, like seed pods. I guess I didn't expect to see seed pods, y'all. And so I have to look that up. But this area right here is completely grown in. This is where our fruit trees are. I have not walked down here in at least 2 months, and you can tell. You can tell. Is that, you know what? I don't think those are seed pods growing from our pear trees, because that's dumb, right? I'm just like, that's so new. They're these lima beans. These speckled lima beans that decided to grow. It probably grew, died, and then grew again. But I believe these are the speckled lima beans that I planted along this arch right here. This space right here is going to need to come next. I'm going to need to clear this out. There's so many weeds over here. There's so many weeds over here. Look at this. It's just like, that's all you see is weeds. And so this space needs a lot of TLC. But I know that there's so many dry loofah in there, because I have not picked one. And there's loofah growing in there. And so I really need to get in here. So I just popped open that green pod, and these are the speckled lima bean that's inside of them. They're pink right now because the pod was so green, but if I let it dry, they're actually purple. And so they're just so pretty. Either way, they're really pretty. Oh my goodness, y'all, just walking through here, I feel like I'm getting my life back. I feel like it's coming back to me. Life is entering back into my veins. So everything that is growing up on these trellises right here are beans that I am growing for seed. So they are pole beans. I had like one little pack left. I threw them inside of here, and that is what's growing right here. And I'm gonna keep letting them grow and dry so that I can have some pole beans for the beginning of next spring season. Okay, y'all, I just decided to brave it. At least if I go through it with this first, if there's any snakes or anything in there, hopefully they'll slither out of the way. So that's the plan. Okay, y'all, so it actually was not that bad. I took the blower all the way through here just so that I could scare anything that might be living along the edges. But as I was going through, because there are so many arches, there wasn't a lot of coverage down on the actual walkway right here. So there is some weeds that I can go through and pick along the sides. But as far as huge weeds just blocking the pathway, that was a no. And so that makes me really happy because this walkway really came through. This sweet potato vine was covering across because it came out of the sweet potato bed that we harvested. Those vines were everywhere. But it is not bad. This section needs a lot of pulling, but as you can see, it's really actually beautiful. I was like, oh, once I got here, I was like, oh, this is so nice. And it's so like kind of tucked away, lots of shade with all of these roselle hibiscus plants. As you can see, they are growing, y'all. This is my first time growing them, and I planted, I think 10 plants, and so we'll see how many we get. But it's my absolute one of my favorite things to put in tea, and so I wanted to grow a whole lot of it. Here is the loofah, this loofah, but look how dry this one is, y'all. This extra crispy. So this is fully dried right here. Yay. That means lots of loofah seeds. I know last year when I got my first loofah, I opened it up and shared seeds with so many of you guys. That was fun. Got another one right here that's fully dry. It looks like several that's fully dry, but everything that's hanging down right here is loofah. So as you can see, we are going to have such a great loofah harvest this year with, I think I actually think this is one plant back here, one or two, because that's the only ones that I could get to germinate and stay alive. And so all of these loofah, they just kept crossing over. The vine just kept growing that way. And as you can see over there on the fence, that's loofah. And so it even spread over there, which I don't really mind in this area of the garden to be a loofah garden. But yeah, it's just really cool over here, which is much needed right now because I am soaking wet. My face is drenched right now. This is the roselle hibiscus, y'all. That's super duper tall. So beautiful. I'm so happy that I got brave, that I had some courage to go through here because it is not what I expected at all. Not what I expected at all. I done put the blower away and didn't realize that when I blew the walkway to the fruit trees, that the pine straw came over here and made a pile right back at my entrance. That I blew again and again and again. But y'all, I'm so happy. I feel so great and accomplished. This is only day 2 of preparing the garden for the fall, but I feel so good. So much better already. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me in the garden today. Until next time, friends.